So when you talk about the economy, of course, it is by far the most important issue for voters. It's also true right now, Mr. President, that voters by a wide margin trust Trump more on the economy. They say that in polls. And part of the reason for that may be the numbers. And you're aware of many of these, of course. The cost of buying a home in the United States is double what it was when you look at your monthly costs from before the pandemic. Real income, when you account for inflation, is actually down since you took office. Economic growth last week, far short of expectations.
Uh-oh. Either somebody on Team Biden screwed up and didn't make it abundantly clear to Aaron Burnett and CNN that Joe Biden is not to be asked difficult questions. Did you see his face? He was like a deer caught in the headlights, like, why are they asking me a real question about the economy? That's not how this is supposed to go. What happened? Did she just have a random act of journalism? Or is the establishment within the Democratic Party signaling yet again they're getting ready to throw old Joe overboard? Oh, baby.
Let's get ready to rumble! You can't handle the truth. Awesome, baby, to the top of the line!
Hi, I'm Pastor Marty, and this is the Afternoon Drive. Thank you so much for watching. Please make sure that you are subscribed to the channel, and once you are, smack the bell, click the word all. That'll give you a notification of my rants, my ravings, and, of course, my undeniably flawless reasonings. Welcome to the Afternoon Drive. Please like and share this video. That's how we get the word out that we're here. Let's get into this.
Joe Biden, he's the man with the Biden touch, a creepy touch.
As Team Biden continues to shed every single demographic, the biggest loss for Joe Biden is that in the under 30 vote, which he carried by 20 plus points in 2020, Donald Trump now leads him by 5. Joe Biden carried the black vote by 84% in 2020. He now only has 60% of the black vote. That is a seismic shift. Joe Biden only leads Trump by 5 in the Hispanic vote. This is catastrophic, and he is looking for anything that he can to try to somehow regain the hearts of the American people, and yet he doesn't understand for all of the virtue signaling that he is into, trying to forgive student debts among students who are screaming on campuses, "Death to America." That ain't playing with the American people. He doesn't understand that the American people do not want DACA kids being given free health care when they themselves can't afford to go to the grocery store. You know, Joe, you need to heed the advice of James Carville, who tried to help George Bush when he was running against Bill Clinton.
It's the economy, stupid.
Boom, and there it is. It's the economy, stupid. It's really not any more complicated than that. But again, this is Joe Biden, who believes his own propaganda. Joe Biden, who gets a pass on anything and everything, but he got real questions from Aaron Burnett on CNN.
With less than 6 months to go to Election Day, are you worried that you're running out of time to turn that around?
We've already turned it around. Look at the Michigan survey. For 65% of American people think they're in good shape economically. They think the nation's not in good shape, but they're personally in good shape.
The Michigan survey? What the heck is the Michigan poll? You know that the national poll has Donald Trump now winning Michigan by plus 15. plus 15. It's not even considered a swing state anymore. It's gone for Donald Trump. I mean, but there's a poll out in Michigan. The Michigan people say America may not be feeling the effects of the economy, but individuals are, and it's good. That doesn't even make any sense. That doesn't even make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. But again, this is Joe Biden, and you don't have to be based in reality with Joe. You have to be based in the facts that he thinks are reality. In other words, lies.
Well, so, but I mean, no president's had the run we've had in terms of creating jobs and bringing down inflation. It was 9% when I came to office.
Well, I hate to cloud the issue with these stubborn little things called, what am I groping for here? Oh yeah, facts. When Donald Trump in January of 2021 handed the reins over to Joe Biden, the inflation rate in the United States was 1.4%. 1.4%. It got to 9% in 2021, by the end of 2021, by December of 2021, after the Biden Build Back Better and Biden had repealed literally everything that Donald Trump had done. Within the first 2 weeks, Biden had signed hundreds and hundreds of executive orders undoing everything that Donald Trump had done. And thus, we were hit with inflation, misery inflation, running right around for 2 years at 7%. Now they love to say, but it's down to like 3.5%. Look at what Joe Biden's done. Yeah. It got to 7%, 9%. He got it down to 4%, but it's still double and triple what it was under Donald Trump. Because, you know, I'm groping for how to explain this so that Joe Biden can understand it.
It's the economy, stupid.
Yeah, that.
What about, but there's real pain. Grocery prices are up 30%, more than 30% since the beginning of the pandemic. And people are spending more on food and groceries than they have at any time really in the past 30 years. That's a real day-to-day pain that people feel.
It really is. And it's real. But the fact is that if you take a look at what the people have, they have the money to spend.
What? Wait, he really didn't just say that. I gotta hear that again.
What about, but there's real pain. Grocery prices are up 30%, more than 30% since the beginning of the pandemic. And people are spending more on food and groceries than they have at any time really in the past 30 years. That's a real day-to-day pain that people feel.
It really is. And it's real. But the fact is that if you take a look at what the people have, they have the money to spend.
So inflation is not a problem, and things costing more are not a problem because the American people have the money. They're a little upset that they go to the grocery store and they got a little less to show for the money because the size of the packages is smaller, but they have the money to go to the grocery store. No, they don't. And people are having to make tough decisions at the grocery store, what they're going to take and what they're going to leave on the shelf, and the embarrassment of at times having to take things back. It's unbelievable. My wife and I make it because it's basically just her and I. Our youngest daughter still lives at home, but she's, works and is fairly independent and kind of comes and goes and really only has a couple of meals a week with us. My wife and I have talked about what would we do if we were still raising all four of our kids? Because kids don't get hungry, they stay hungry. And as they get to be teenagers, they really stay hungry. My wife almost used to cry when she would come home with groceries at the end of the week, and my teenage sons, would open the refrigerator and hail every shelf within the first, 12, 14 hours the food was in the house. And she'd have to go to the store again before the weekend was over. But that was the price of raising teenage kids. I really don't know how the American families are doing it. But what they do understand is they did it, and they did it fairly well and easily under Donald Trump. Joe Biden, wanting to take these victory laps of non-victories. He wants everybody to understand what a great job he's done with the economy. He has done an atrocious job with the economy. And he doesn't seem to wrap his head around the fact, nor do most liberals, that it is the direct Biden policies. You do understand that when you allow a flood of illegals in, and you pay for that, and you pay for that by just printing money that isn't there, that creates this thing called inflation. And as you keep printing this money that isn't there to fund wars in Ukraine and fund wars that we don't want to be involved in, that creates inflation because there's no standard behind that money. You're just creating it. And the more you create it, the more you're devaluing the money. So that causes inflation to go up. And if you're waiting for the feds to give you a break and cut it, they're not. They've just announced they're not cutting it. So we are paying more and getting less. But of course, Joe Biden is going to champion the American people. He's going to get those Snickers bars back to the size they belong.
The whole idea of this notion that Senator Casey talked about, shrinkflation. I think it's on your
Same
program.
price for a smaller bottle of juice or
Well,
something.
for example, Snickers bar, they did a thing, and it's like 20% less for the same price. That's corporate greed.
Greed. So it's greed. Well, I'm losing track here, Joe. Is the inflation good because Americans can afford to pay for it? Or is it about corporate greed? And I love how he says it. It's shrinkflation. You're paying the same price, getting something smaller. No, what people are really wincing about is they're paying more at the grocery store. They're paying more at the grocery store. I know it's a great line for liberals and even some liberals on alternative media on their social media platforms to talk about this thing called shrinkflation. And there is no doubt things out there that we see are smaller in size and the same in price. That's been going on like forever. I've talked openly here about what is it with the Big Mac at McDonald's. The patties are about the size of a silver dollar. That's it. I mean, they're like little sausage patties now. That's really, you're going to start calling the Big Mac a slider. It's really got in that sad. But while yes, we can say that, hey, if a corporation can get you to pay the same money for less, all right, that's a real thing. But is that really all that's at play here? It doesn't cost these corporations any more money to do business under Biden? If a gallon of milk is costing you and I a lot more than it did under Donald Trump, that's the last time I checked, because, Joe is really upset that Snickers bars are, smaller, but costing, more. So I think they use milk when they make chocolate, don't they? So is there a slight chance the manufacturer is paying more? Is there a possibility that even McDonald's is paying more for beef? And since they understand that people, their customer base, many of them are budget-minded, to keep the price the same, they can't necessarily keep the product the same because it's costing them more to transport it. That thing called gas and diesel, which is through the roof too? You know what rides in the back of those trucks on the way to stores? Products like candy bars. So it costs the candy manufacturer money, not only to make the product, but then money to ship the product. And if the trucking firms and the shipping firms are paying more for fuel and more per mile and more for their workers, et cetera, guess who absorbs the cost? The consumer. So the products are getting smaller, not simply over greed, corporate greed, but it costs them more to make it. And they know they can't just keep raising the price on it because people will stop buying it completely. So to keep it the price that they believe people will pay, they have to make the product smaller. Unbelievable. The gall of this man, the outright arrogance of this man. Hey, you got the money to pay because we have the strongest economy in the world. No joke. Strongest economy in the world. I've created millions of jobs. No president accomplished what I've accomplished. You didn't create squat. The economy got artificially turned off over the scamdemic. It was the biggest mistake Donald Trump made. Listening to Mike Pence and scare Fauci, convincing him that he had to do this. And it was the very plan the Democrats hatched to destroy Donald Trump's legacy and presidency. He was sailing to re-election. And I warned the American people. I warned you. I warned conservative media outlets. They will kill the economy. Rush Limbaugh took to the airwaves and excoriated me and others for dare even hinting that the economy was so strong there was nothing the Democrats could do to stop it. They literally turned it off. Donald Trump being backed into a corner and scared into millions of people could die if you don't make them stay home, and you will be blamed for killing American people. So we artificially turned off the economy. It was only supposed to be for 2 weeks. In some places, it went on for months and months and months, especially in blue states, because it was a way the governors found they could control people and destroy Trump and benefit their billionaire donor class. Because with all the mom and pop stores closed down, Jeff Bezos could be wide open. Walmart could be wide open. Home Depot could be wide open. And since many entrepreneurs tend to lean toward the conservative way of thinking because they don't like seeing all of their profits eaten up in taxes, put the mom and pops out of business. It was a win-win-win for the Democrats during the shutdown. But once the shutdown ended, these 14 million jobs that Joe Biden likes to say he created, it was simply people being allowed to go back to work. So, Joe, it's the economy, stupid, and you have failed. And you have failed miserably. And now it's time for you to get out of the way so that Donald Trump can come fix it. But the fact that CNN hit him this hard, this direct, and again, caught like a deer in the headlights as he's looking at Aaron Burnett like, you're not supposed to be asking me real questions. Is this a sign? Is this another sign, another tell in our poker game here that the establishment is sending a clear message to the media? We want you to go after him. We need you to go after him. We need you to stop spinning, and we need you to start reporting because we need Joe to go. Boom. He's going to be taken out by his own party.